All right, Algebra 2 students, back with lesson 11.3, and this is the first part of 11.3, so I'm calling it 11.3a. There are two parts to this section. Let's start out with some vocab. We've got a lot of vocab here. So pause the video as needed when you need some extra time there to write these down. Standard deviation. Standard deviation is noted by the Greek letter sigma, and it looks kind of like an O with a little hat on it. That stands for standard deviation. Standard deviation is the measure of how much the values in a data set vary from the mean. So if you're given a string of numbers or a string of data, you're going to compare that based on the mean, which the mean is given by this X bar here. And so that's the symbol for mean, and the mean is the average of all values in a data set. So the average of all values. And then median would be that middle value. So if you take your string of data and you put it in numerical order, you're looking for that number that is right in the middle, and that is your median. First quartile is the median of the first half of data values. So you have a string of data, and then from the middle, you're looking at that first half, and you're finding the middle of that first half. And similarly, with the third quartile, you're taking that string of data, and you're looking at that last half and looking for that middle number in the last half of that data. Minimum would be the lowest value in your data set. Maximum would be the highest value in your data set. And then range, the range, we talked about range before, but this is not the set of Y values. This is a little bit different. This is in stats, the range is the maximum, so the highest value, minus the minimum, the lowest value. So you're subtracting the highest minus the lowest there to find the range. And then your 5-number summary. So sometimes you'll be asked for that 5-number summary. And those 5 numbers are the minimum value, the first quartile, then the median, and then the third quartile, and then lastly, the 5th number would be the maximum value. Last term, interquartile range. This is the difference between the third and first quartiles. You're going to take your number that you get from the third quartile, and you're going to subtract that number of the first quartile. So third quartile minus the first quartile gives you that interquartile range. All right, that was a lot of definitions. So let's apply these definitions. Let's put them to use here. All right, now we're going to find measures of center and spread. So that's your learning target. And I forgot to write it there, so I'm going to do that now. I can find measures of center and spread. So let's talk about what these measures are first. So measures of center and spread. So I have that written down here. So the measures of center are considered the mean and the median. And then the measures of spread are the standard deviation, the range, and the interquartile range. So center, the mean and median fall under the category of center. Standard deviation, range, and interquartile range fall under the category of spread. All right, so now that you know what center and spread is, let's find them. All right, so this is done in your calculator. So I'm going to grab my calculator here. All right. so, oh, we need the problem. Okay, there we go. So here is my data set. All these numbers would make up my data set. So I want to find the mean and the standard deviation using technology. Technology would be our calculator. So I'm going to do that by, first of all, I'm going to push stat, which is this button right, I wonder if you can see that right here. So stat, and my screen looks like this. And then I want edit, so it's already highlighted. I'm just going to push enter. Okay, then I have a list 1, and in my list 1 is where I'm going to put my data set. So I'm going to enter all these numbers into list 1. 4, 12, 15, 9, so on, 13. Oh, lost my spot there. 25. All right, there's my data set. Hopefully I entered those correctly. All right, then I'm going to go back to stat, that same button that we pushed up first there, stat. And then I'm gonna scroll over to calc here using this button. And then I'm going to choose that first one that's highlighted, the one variable stats there. And it looks like that. Now I'm gonna push enter. And there is all my answers. So your mean would be right here. And then your standard deviation is this OX here. So I have that written down for you here. X bar is the mean, OX is the standard deviation. And if I wanted all my data, I can keep scrolling down here. And it gives you like the first quartile, the median, the third quartile, and so on. All right. I'm gonna scroll back up. And then I would write down my answers based on what I got there. All right, go ahead and try all these on your own. Go ahead and pause the video there. Okay, so going over the answers. All right. Just give you these answers really quick here. Those are the answers for that. All right, down here, we're gonna do the same thing. If you haven't done that yet, go ahead and pause the video, but if not, here you go. Oops, 614.286, standard deviation. And then your, let's go ahead and do the 5 number summary. So that'd be your min, first quartile, median, third quartile, and then the max, that highest number is 900. All right, there's your answers there. And that would be it. Oh, real quick, how do you find the range in the interquartile range? Let's go over that too. So the range, if I'm using this example up here, I'm looking at the highest minus the lowest, so the max 900 minus the min 450. and that would be 450. That would be your range. That's the answer for the range. If you're looking for the interquartile range, I'm going to call it IQR, interquartile range, you're going to do the third quartile, which is 750, minus the first 500, and that would give you the 250. All right, that is the end of that lesson.